Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 11th episode of Elder Zoomers Gaming Guild podcast. We have our usual suspects here today, minus Nico, but
Car
we
problems,
we
literally.
will we will yeah
Literally.
we will carry on. Um, how you fellas doing this fine Wednesday evening?
I'm doing good. I got sushi in my belly. I got some ice cream. I'm chilling. I got a blazer on. I'm feeling myself. I'm ready
Dude,
for this.
two best things to eat.
I know, right?
I
Sushi and
chugged
ice
it.
cream.
I actually also had sushi just before this, but it was Costo sushi. Costo apparently does sushi now, and it's actually really fucking good and
I heard it was
really,
actually pretty good.
really nicely priced.
Who would have thought? Hot take: Costco sushi's good.
Yeah,
It is.
right?
It is. That
Costco
with a
has a
glass
lot of
of
good
pink
stuff,
lemonade
though,
and blue
to be honest.
Powerade.
Man,
Are
I'm
you
the only
sure?
one that
Okay.
didn't have sushi. I had pizza. Man, I feel like I'm missing out.
Sushi pizza.
Ugh, I wish. No, it was just is that even a thing?
That's got to be a thing.
Oh,
Some
I'm sure it
sushi
is.
restaurant
I
makes
mean,
pizza.
sushi burritos are a thing, so sushi pizza's got to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they make poke nachos. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one makes a little more sense though. You have to.
Would you
dip
like
it
some
and-
chips with your salmon?
God.
with your uncooked tuna
Yeah.
Yeah.
and sriracha. But anyway, what's the first
Well,
topic?
hey guys. Yeah. So the first big bit of news, and I've been waiting for this to drop. Sony announced it was coming a few months ago. We didn't really hear anything else, and then last week we heard rumors that it was coming out this week. Um, and as of I think it was yesterday, it officially dropped. Um, so PlayStation, I'll break this down kind of simply. So PlayStation Plus, which was basically Sony's equivalent of Xbox Live Gold. You know, you get your online access, you get your free games each month, whatnot. That is being basically expanded. So if you don't want to change the way it is, you can still pay your $60 a year. Keep your same stuff. But they've added two new tiers, which one of them for a few bucks more a month gets you a dedicated amount of PS4 and PS5 games that you can just play. They're included with the service. And then there's a premium tier, which actually allows for it actually adds in addition to those PS4 and PS5 games, you get PS1 games, PS2 games, and PSP games, certain amounts of those games. And then you also get game demos, so you can like play some games before you buy them, which I think is pretty cool. Um, Only downside is with you do also get PS3 games. I don't know if I said that. The PS3 games though are streaming only, so it's like Google Stadia kind of, where the game isn't downloaded on your console. You're like streaming it. So if you don't have good internet, it's probably not going to work so well. The PlayStation 3 console was built very weird. It was a cell processor, and even getting it to even like PC emulators aren't there yet. It's a whole thing, but yeah. So the PS3 games are streaming only, but you can actually download and play on your console. Supposedly the PSP, PS1, and PS2 games, and that all those changes are coming in June. People were expecting this to be a Game Pass competitor, but the key thing with Game Pass is that you're getting Microsoft's first party games day and date, such as Halo or Forza Horizon. With Sony, you're not getting that. You're still buying those separately outside of these services. But I mean, what do you guys think of this? Do you guys think this is something Sony needed to compete better with what Xbox is doing? Because let's be honest, Game Pass is a pretty good deal for what you get. Um, $15 a month, you get all of Xbox's exclusive games in there, plus you get a huge, you library of games. You also get Xbox Live Gold thrown in there if you pay for Game Pass Ultimate. I mean, if you, I mean, I do either of you guys have PlayStation Plus actually?
No, I don't. And actually, Prez, I'm gonna let you talk on this because I'm about to shit my pants. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll give my 2 cents.
Yeah, I go for it.
It's funny because it's kind of like the big thing that I think needs to be said is they were probably trying to go for a Game Pass competitor, but like you said, you don't get the Sony games like day one.
Like
So what I think it truthfully is I think they pulled what a Disneyland pulled this last year with COVID and everything, where it's the same thing that you were already getting, but now with a few extra things that you kind of want, but you also kind of don't need. And then they're charging you a lot more money. Now, Disneyland went way crazier. I mean, going from like
yeah.
$700 to $1,400 a year pass type thing. But
Jeez.
I kind of see PlayStation, especially with that premium thing you were talking about. Like you listed the benefits you get with premium, and I'm like, I feel like,
Yeah.
because how much is the premium? Do you know? Is it like 60 a month?
Yeah. So I'm gonna backpedal just for a second. The good thing about what Sony did, and this was my biggest concern, I only pay for PlayStation Plus. I just pay my $60 a year. Sony has the other service, PlayStation Now, which is where you stream all the old games. They're basically combining the two services into one.
Gotcha.
And for an additional price with added benefits. If like me, I just like paying my $60 a year. I get my PlayStation Plus, get my online access, my free games each month, all that. If you are like me and you just want things to stay the same with that, it does.
Okay.
That doesn't change, and I was very thankful for that, and that was a smart move on their part. But if you were already paying for both services separately, you're now getting them both in at one price plus more. PlayStation Plus is $10 a month or $60 a year, so you do pay half if you pay for it all at once. Similarly with Xbox
I love
Live
those
Gold.
kind of deals.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus, I think, was it Essentials? Or that might be the new one. I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so the standard PlayStation Plus is now called Essential.
Okay.
The middle tier is Extra, and that's the one, so it's $15 a month. I don't know if you can pay for that one yearly. It doesn't say on here, but that's where you get the PS4 and PlayStation 5 games bundled in there. You get some of Sony's own games, like they're throwing in Spider-Man, God of War, and some other ones, which is really good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you do get some good games in there. You're just not getting the newest games in there day and date like you do with Game Pass. And that's the one that's $15 a month. Or okay, so that one does say or $100 per year, so you can save a little bit there. And then there's PlayStation Plus Premium, which is $18 per month, which is actually more than Game Pass Ultimate. Or if you want it to be cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate, you can pay for it yearly, which is $120 per year. With Game Pass Ultimate, you do not save by paying for it yearly, so it's $15 a month or $180 a year. With the PlayStation Plus Premium, you are saving some money there. You're only paying $120 a year, or it's $18 a month. You are paying more if you do pay for it monthly. So that's one where you definitely want to go yearly if you do want that. So the pricing isn't bad, but again, it's a lot of stuff you don't necessarily need.
Right. That's the thing. It's like they're throwing a bunch of things in there and being like, hey, like we're doing you a deal. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you go to get your car maintenance and they're like, oh, would you like us to rotate your tires for an extra $40? I'm on the car thing because Nico's AFK doing that.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I don't need my tires rotated. Like,
yeah.
And they try to get you that stuff. It's like, oh, would you like us to
They-
clean your cabin air filter? It's like, I need that done like once every like 4 checkups. Not like
Yeah,
every
they always
time.
want to upsell you and get you to buy more things. Yeah, this does definitely feel like that a little bit. And part of the thing that, I don't go back and play a whole lot of like older games, but my whole thing is like, I feel like Xbox did it better because, if I have, not every game is supported through backwards compatibility, but if I own an original Xbox or Xbox 360 game and it is supported through backwards compatibility, whether I own the game digitally or physically, or I have the disc, I can just play that on my Xbox Series X and I don't have to pay anything. Like, it works. It just works. Like, I can, pop in Red Dead Redemption, my Xbox 360 disc, put it in, and it just works. Or if I want to buy the game digitally or I owned it digitally, I can just re-download it to the console.
You know what just works?
What was that?
You know what just works? Bethesda games.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah. Yeah, it just works. But with Sony, if you want to play, if I bought a bunch of digital games on my PlayStation 3, well, I'm out of luck. I have to pay for this higher tier to stream those games that I own. It 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 feels a little scummy. And again, Sony gets a little bit of pass with the PS3 games because the programming, I guess, for that generation specifically was just awful.
Can I
It
be
was just
real
really
though?
bad. What?
Why do they get a pass? Because they're the ones who created the problem.
That is true. That is true. They like so from my understanding, and I don't completely understand it, and I won't pretend to, but from my understanding, the PlayStation 3 was a very powerful console, but it was very difficult for developers to make games for. And that's why the Xbox 360 won that generation, because despite being a technically less capable console, the games looked and played better because it was easier to develop for. And Sony could, if they wanted to, you know, uh, put money into emulation and get that working, but it would cost them a lot of money, and
Oh yeah.
they don't want to do that. With the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and PSP games, those are more easy for them to work with. They were easier to develop for and easier to port. So for them, they probably had to put a lot less money into making those work. And there's like PC emulators for those PS3 games, and they've gotten some of the games working, but even the PC community hasn't been able to get all these games running like flawlessly. It's very that cell processor that was in the PS3 is just really difficult to code for, and Sony doesn't want to bother with it. And I mean, it's up to them whether they think it's worth it or not. The PlayStation 3 came out in 2006, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah. No, I mean,
do people care anymore? Should they put money into that? That's where I'm like, if I was them, I don't know if I would. Like, you can stream
I
the
wouldn't.
games. You can stream the games. It's not as good, but I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, but is that something people want to pay for? If they were already paying for both services, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, then I guess they,
Mhm.
I mean, why not? I mean, I think they were both $50 a year or something like that. So you're not, or 50 or 60, depending on if you got the deals or not. So, I mean, you're not really paying that much more. For those people, this doesn't really change that much. It goes up a little bit in price, but you do get new benefits. So, okay, not a huge deal. But that middle tier to me is the one where it's like, it's kind of interesting. It sits in this weird spot. It's like you get some games, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And you're paying the I guess if you don't care about old games and you only want more recent ones, that one's for you. Did you ever have, I know you have a PS4, did you ever have PlayStation Plus when you owned one?
I had it. I think it came with like a free 3-month trial thing. So yeah, I had it. I actually even had, and it's really funny how memory works. I had a PS3 for like
Oh, really?
3 months, and then I don't even know what I did with it. I think I sold it, but I don't yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember.
that's funny. Do you
Yeah.
remember which model you had? Like, was it like
I had the chunky one. Like it was like curved.
was it the one that said like PlayStation 3 like
Yeah.
across the top in the silver like letters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those, depending on which model you had, because there are three that look identical, but they're different on the inside. If it was like a launch model, those are actually worth a lot of money because you could actually put in a PS1 or PS2 disc into that console and it would play the game. But then with the newer ones that look identical on the outside,
It was one of those. I remember
Was
because I
it?
used to play PS2 games on it.
Yeah, dude.
And I think I sold it for like $200 too. So whatever.
Oh, well, okay, that's actually about what they're worth.
Oh, okay.
So that's not bad. Yeah. Those ones hold their value because you can put in like old PlayStation games and it works. They got rid of that with the later models. And even the ones that look exactly the same might not be able to play the PS2 games. So it's interesting. Hey Peyton, we were talking about how we were talking about how on Xbox if I have an old Xbox game, I can just, if it supports backwards compatibility, I can put it into the console and it just works. Like I can just play it, or I can digitally download it.
Problem.
But on PlayStation, if you want to play these older games, you have to stream them, or you have to have the subscription service to download the games.
And see, I see. I was listening in while I was taking my poop. I think I totally agree with what Nick was saying, especially that analogy. It's like when you go into a car dealership and you're like, I have this very specific thing that I want, and then on the other, like, you could enhance your experience by getting your car detailed or having your tires rotated or all that stuff, right? That's what it feels like. It feels like unnecessary. It feels like either it should come with it as it is, or offer it separately as something totally separate. Offer something totally separate than like trying to tack it on as like an additional expense. Because then it just feels like a cheap sales tactic.
Yeah. And I mean, again, if you were already paying for both of PlayStation services separately, this is honestly probably more of a good thing than bad, because you're just getting a lot more for a little bit of money. For a little bit more money. So I mean, in that way, it's good. I mean, this isn't necessarily bad. It's just, I think there are some things that could have been reworked to be better. And if Sony really wants to compete, they need to get these games. They need to get their discs working natively. Like how I can put in, I could play. Just thinking of an example here, like the Star Wars Episode 3 video game. I could pop that disc into my Series X. It downloads off the store, and then I can play it, and I can just play the game on my console. And Microsoft, yeah, right. And specifically, Microsoft does things like the FPS boost and the auto HDR, so the games actually look and play better. They almost get like a little bit of a remaster kind of treatment. So we might be getting that with these Sony games. They haven't really said a whole lot about that yet. But yeah, with Microsoft, it just, like Todd Howard said from Bethesda, it just works. Whereas, Sony doesn't have that. Their I feel like their ecosystem isn't developed like that yet, and their solution is pay for this subscription service, and you can play those old games. It's like, okay, but what if I bought them digitally? What if I bought Uncharted on the PS3 digitally back in the day? Now
a big question to ask. That seems like a question that should have probably been asked in the R&D room, right? And when coming up with all this, someone should have been like, hey, let's say I'm a consumer. What if? That's, I feel like that's, sometimes you just get, it's either a developer or a console maker or a producer or someone falls through the cracks on the what ifs, and they're so important. You got to think like a buyer. If you're not thinking
the devil is in the fucking details.
The devil's in the details. But I'm thinking like everybody that I know who's versed in sales, the first thing they'll say is, you got to fucking think like a customer. If you're not thinking like the people you're selling to, you ain't going to put out a product that's like as high as it can be. So,
yeah. Exactly. Well, and like, that's the funny thing that cracks me up. Like, just remember, like, just imagine how this like whole console war thing has been going. It's been like, okay, the 360 was the better out of the two, and then the PlayStation 4 truthfully was the better out of the two, even though we all stuck with Xbox One.
I know.
And then if I'm being honest, Xbox Series X has taken the win again.
Yeah, they're doing really good. Sony's doing great. I mean, they're doing great too with the PlayStation 5. I mean, both consoles are doing really well this generation, but
it's in terms of service, right?
Yeah, exactly, in terms of service. But to me, I just find it funny because I don't know if it's like they win that specific generation war and is like, oh cool, we can like go easy now. Like, we can take a break. Because they've been trading now for 3 generations.
No, and that's the thing too. And I've said this before, so with the way the PlayStation 3 was made, Sony was like, they needed the PlayStation 4 to be really good. It was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One, because when the Xbox One first launched, it came bundled with the Kinect. You had to have it. The PlayStation 4 was cheaper, and it was technically more powerful. So the games looked and played better. And Microsoft really shot themselves in the foot. They had to backpedal. They removed the Kinect, started selling the console for $400, so it matched the PlayStation 4. And
Do you
then
have
they
a
had.
Kinect, Jarrett?
I still have my Xbox One Kinect. I do. I think it's in the box. Actually, I put it back.
Bro, I'll buy it off you. I'm not even
What-
joking.
What
Real
would you
quick
play?
sideline.
There's like 5 games.
No. Real quick sideline. So this is crazy. I did not. If I saw a guy on TikTok talking about this, I'm like, this is absolutely insane. So you can physically mod a Kinect
Uh-huh.
and turn it into like the craziest webcam,
Really?
like full on. It because the thing about it, it's got 2 cameras built in for the Xbox One, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
get like an ultra wide webcam.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
it's
you might
got
just
the,
want to
it's
keep
got
it
the
and do it yourself,
infrared
Garrett.
laser too.
Yeah, you have the dude, and that's the crazy thing. You can literally use it to 3D scan like rooms and shit. Like,
Oh yeah, because it measures like the space that you're in when you're
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think
and then
about that. What the heck?
dude, it's also a thermal camera.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
so
that's-
much you can do with it. All you have to do is you have to get like 2 cable parts and a power adapter, and you can plug into your computer via USB, and basically like just it's like jailbreaking your phone from like the 2007s.
Yeah.
But we're breaking a warranty or anything because it's like, hey, what
Who's
you're
using
doing
it?
is gonna break it.
Yeah.
You're literally using it for what it's used for, just not for like the intent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no. I mean that's honestly really cool, and I've always said that the Kinect was an amazing product. I mean, Microsoft, they marketed it heavily on the 360, and they had some really cool games. I thought Star Wars Kinect was really cool. I remember with Skyrim,
I think it was ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, and like with Skyrim, like you could like shout, like do the
Yeah,
shouts, and
I
it would
remember that.
register which one you were doing,
Yeah.
and like and it would go in the game. I thought that was so cool. Like
Really
it
good feature.
was really cool. It was almost like a 4D aspect, like
Little bit.
like
Bro,
real things were implemented into the game.
I hardcore see like some Ready Player One shit happening with Web3 in the metaverse, where like some people will be using Kinects as a way to like backway get into like Web3 and shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
Because think
I
about
could
it,
see
they're gonna
that.
be like those like I was at like a resale store, you know, like the places like sells a bunch of movies and like Funko Pops and everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
literally in like the bottom, they call them bargain bins. There were like 9 like Xbox 360 Connects. I'm like, there's gonna be somebody who one day like hooks all of these up in a line and is like able to digitally like scan themselves walking through like the metaverse and shit.
Oh
He's
yeah.
untraceable. He's using the equivalent of a floppy disk for the metaverse.
We can't trace him.
A gun in the game to kill people in real life. Dun, dun, dun.
It's like that episode of did you guys ever watch? Well, I know Peyton saw Book of Boba Fett. Did you ever see it, Nick? Book of
No.
Boba Fett? Oh, well, this isn't really a spoilery thing, but basically, it was actually one of the characters was in a ship, and it was like one of the old like Naboo ships from like the
Okay.
Phantom Menace, and
Okay.
so which that ship is like 40 years old at this point in the timeline. So they weren't able to be tracked because it was pre-Empire. And that's what that reminds me of when you said that. Like the technology is old, so they can't be traced. But yeah, I
Yep.
mean, Microsoft has definitely had their flunks. The Kinect started off pretty good, and then with the Xbox One, it put them so far behind the competition with PlayStation that they had to adapt. And because Microsoft was so confident going into the Xbox One generation, they screwed up. They forced people to buy the Kinect. That didn't work. Made it cost too much money. Your competitors better and less expensive. I mean, how do you think that's gonna go? And Microsoft started off. Sony was outselling them 2-1. And Microsoft caught up. They did better towards the end, especially with backwards compatibility. That's what really I think launched them. But it was too little, too late. And that's why I was so excited for this current generation, because Sony had a good year. They're still going good. Microsoft, they made some really big mistakes. They learned, and now they're coming into this current generation really strong. And they
Yeah.
have the Series S, which is $100 cheaper than Sony's cheapest console, which is the digital only PlayStation 5. So Xbox has the cheaper price, and they have an equivalent product. So it's really interesting. They're really neck and neck this generation, and I think with services, I think they're winning in services right now in terms of value, what you get for your money.
Bro, if they made Halo actually work, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, that game was included in Game Pass. I mean, the multiplayer was free to play anyways, but I
Yeah.
mean, the campaign, which was $60, was included day one. I saved $60 by having Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna get Game Pass Ultimate when I finally go to play the campaign. Bro,
yeah.
speaking real quick about Halo Infinite, you know how bad it's doing? I went to play a game this morning just to wake up, unwind.
Uh-huh.
It literally told me it was gonna be a 2.5 minute wait.
Oh, to get into a game?
To get into Tenrai, which is like the event this week.
Oh, is that the Fiesta or whatever?
Yeah,
Is that
Fiesta, yeah, but it's like the specific, like it's highlighted in orange, like it's Tenrai.
The event Fiesta.
Yeah. Wow, dude, that's crazy. So they just don't have enough players? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, everyone's leaving. I was like, I'm not waiting 2.5 minutes.
I'm gonna need a fact, but if I read correctly, I read something that said that the Master Chief Collection actually now has more players than Halo Infinite.
It did spike. Yeah, I think it spiked again. People were like going back to the Master Chief Collection.
Well, I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Everyone got back on the Halo like nostalgia hype train, and then Infinite bombed. So then you're like, well, I still want that like nostalgia. So then you just go to the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, you still want to play Halo, and what you're playing in Halo Master Chief Collection isn't exactly like old per se. The content and the concepts are a little old, but like the games are
they essentially add some new stuff. But yeah, I mean, the way Halo Infinite just, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Game itself is incredible. The lack of content is what's screwing them up. Halo Infinite, it plays like butter, man. Everything is so smooth. It plays so well. You go back and play some of the older Halos, it doesn't feel quite as good. Not to give them flack. I mean,
I'm still such a fan of Halo 3. Best game ever.
Oh, Halo 3 is great. You just run so slowly.
Well, see, like I still play shit like Valorant, so it's like I'm used to that pace still.
That's true. And I mean, hey, Master Chief Collection, you get, between all the different games and the different maps and game modes, like there's a lot of content there.
Bro, honestly, like going in between multiplayer for all the different ones is like
kind of fun.
Whiplash.
And it makes you work your brain because they're all a little bit different.
It's like playing Apex because one second you're playing Halo MC, you're playing Combat Evolved, and the next thing you know, you're playing 4 and you can sprint and summon drones and shit, and you're like, ah.
I know, dude. And literally, and on top of that, like you might actually do better in some games with a different button layout. And if you so choose, you can make button layouts for the different games.
And I'm just constantly bumper jumper.
I know I unify them all because it's just exactly for what you're saying, Nick. There's already enough difference that it works out your brain to throw in. I already have enough trouble going from one thing to another. So
well, that's like I went to bumper jumper and then played Warzone for the first time in 6 months, and that was before I went to bumper jumper. So I'm like trying to what the fuck is wrong with my controller? Then I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I think Halo Infinite was a big hit when it came out, and they just need to keep working on it. And that was a big, I think Game Pass's numbers really went up with the launch of Halo Infinite, and they were riding high on that for a while. But I mean, once the content really slowed down, they just started they just went downhill. The thing is that Microsoft is because they're a $1 trillion company, they can afford to put their big games in Game Pass Ultimate day and date and have it work.
It's the Amazon strategy.
Yeah, like they're losing money now. You
create the same product, undercut all your competitors until they go out of business, and then you can charge whatever the hell you want because you're the only person making them now.
Yeah, that, and also in addition to that, you think Microsoft is technically taking a loss on Game Pass right now just because their subscribers aren't super high yet, but I mean, it's slowly climbing up, and eventually they will be to the point where it's profitable, and they're gonna have all these people in the Xbox ecosystems buying
Well, and
new
they're
games.
buying everyone. They just bought Activision.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, bro,
for
every
$69
single Call of
billion.
Duty could potentially be on Game Pass.
And they're planning to do that. I can guarantee you. Every
Bro,
Call of Duty.
that's the crazy thing. It doesn't even matter if they keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, like they let people from PlayStation get it, because then you're still gonna have to buy the game for $60. It would just
Yeah.
make more sense to just buy an Xbox and get the freaking Game Pass.
And Microsoft is getting some of that money because they own Activision. So
Yeah.
you buy it on PlayStation, they get some of that money.
Even
I mean,
get it on a different console, they're getting that slice.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Which is
so it's
like
smart.
a free IQ move.
Yeah, and they made all. I mean, I don't know about all, but I think. Well, actually, no. I think all of the Call of Duty games are backwards compatible. Modern Warfare 2, the first Black Ops, even the really old ones like Call of Duty 3, like those are all backwards compatible. You can pop in your Xbox 360 disc and it works, and you can purchase them digitally on the store. So
bro, the
they
next
can just
crazy
put-
thing, if Xbox just was like, hey, we bought Ubisoft, I'd be like, all right, PlayStation's fucking dead.
Yeah, Ubisoft, or I could see them getting like maybe Square Enix, who did like Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I think they did Deus Ex also.
Bro, but if they got Ubisoft, because they
that
make
would be
Assassin's
big.
Creed, right?
Yeah, Ubisoft does Assassin's Creed. They
You
do
imagine?
Ghost Recon. Rainbow Six Siege is still huge.
Yeah. If I was a PlayStation player and they're like, yeah, we got Ubisoft, it's like, wait, so you're telling me if I pay $25 a month, I can play every single Call of Duty, every single Assassin's Creed, every single like the only thing PlayStation has on you at that point is Horizon and God of War and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean that is very true. The thing is though, is I think Ubisoft does have their own service. They have like a Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, no, they do.
Play or something like
same
that.
with EA, the EA Play whatever thing.
That's included in Game Pass Ultimate, actually. EA Play, you do get that in with your yeah. So
really?
you get some of the older Battlefield games.
You get the Jedi Fallen Knight one with
Jedi Fallen Order. Maybe I think Battlefront 2 is in there. The newer one, so that might be in there too. Yeah, check, dude. I would honestly check. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that is EA, so it's very possible. But yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, once EA Play was thrown in there, I was like, man, this Ultimate just keeps getting better, and it hasn't gone up in price yet. Knock on wood, because it probably will at some point. Look at Netflix. It used to be like the most premium tier used to be like $10 a month, and now it's 20. It just went up. It just went up to 20.
It's crazy.
So I mean. But you have to think you're getting more for your money, so it's up to you whether you want to continue paying or not. But Game Pass hasn't gone up yet, and they've added so much since then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay for Netflix. My parents do, so I still have it. But
yeah, my parents do also. I pay for Disney Plus though, so I contribute a little bit.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Peyton? Peyton, say what you were saying again.
Gang shit for having your parents pay for Netflix. Honestly, it's the play.
Yeah.
Bro, dude,
pay for your own, you got to go on someone else's account. Honestly,
I've been cutting all my I've been cutting like all my expenses out as much as I can. So like I use my parents' Netflix. We use the First Lady's Hulu account and then their Spectrum login. So I get live channels and shit.
Oh, nice.
I use my cousin's Disney Plus. The only thing I actually pay for is my own Spotify, and I only started doing this last month.
Oh, and wow.
Even that I have running through my school email, since I still have it. So I have the $5 a month.
Oh,
and then I canceled my Crunchyroll and Funimation account because I found a third party like watch for free whenever you want site that I won't mention here because I don't want to get banned.
I don't want that. I don't want that thing leaking. It's gold.
Yeah, it's gold. If you want to know about it, come join the Cyberspace Discord and shoot me. You only get the plug if you're part of the community.
Yeah, which will be linked in the description as always. I always link the Cyberspace.
Thank you.
In the description. Yeah, of course. I link the Cyberspace. I think I link your YouTube channel as well, Prez.
Oh, thank you.
I think I linked that in there. Yeah. So always included. We got to build each other up. So that's one way of doing it. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I to try to bring everything around full circle. I think what Sony has done with they've really simplified their services. I think in some ways it works, in other ways it's underwhelming. Do you think it's enough to compete with Microsoft or Nintendo's online, which has you can play like Nintendo 64 games and things like that? But I mean, I don't think it's enough.
Honestly,
Honest,
Sony and Nintendo need to merge. That's the only way they take down Microsoft.
Never gonna.
No.
Oh, I know it would never happen.
Nintendo, you know that that newest Pokemon Legends Arceus game?
Yeah.
You know it sold 6 million copies within its first week?
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I am telling you, I am 99% sure because Sony makes so much other, like they make everything. Like they make movies, they make TVs, they make fucking smart appliances, they do everything. They're crazy.
And they're still a fraction of the size of Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. And let's be real, I'm pretty sure they've been at a loss for a while now with their game, like
Possibly.
game company.
I don't know how much, and they do movies too. Like they just came out with Uncharted. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's I don't know how they're doing financially. Honestly, I mean, they just bought Bungie for three billion. So I mean,
big whoop.
They've got
they
yeah,
bought Bungie after they no longer had Halo. Yeah, good job. You got fucking Destiny. Like whatever.
Yeah, which is gonna remain multi-plat anyway. So I'm like, who cares?
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's gonna remain multi-plat. So
here comes Xbox buying all these people and making most of the games console exclusive, and then the one buy PlayStation does, it's gonna remain multi-platform
like, oh, no, keep doing what you're doing.
because they need the money from the Xbox players. That's how you know they're in a dude. If Nintendo literally take that Pokemon money and go buy like the Sony game part. Did you imagine that if Nintendo was like,
dude, if Nintendo...
we're gonna have a game for every point in your life. We're gonna have Pokemon for the you as a kid and Mario for the you as a kid. We're gonna have like Super Smash Brothers for you as a teen. We're gonna have Spider-Man. We're gonna have Uncharted. We're gonna have fucking...
Yeah. Fun fact: Microsoft actually tried to it wasn't technically buying back then, but they were gonna try to partner with Nintendo on their Xbox, like the original Xbox.
Bro.
Apparently, according to someone who was actually there in the meeting, Nintendo laughed them out the door. They were like, no, like get out. Like you guys aren't even like worth our time. And I was like, what on earth? Like, can you like, and granted, you know, Bill Gates and Microsoft, they were much smaller back then, but like how big they are now, like Sony was like, maybe we should have done more of a partnership with them. But Nintendo's doing great on their own. So, I mean, maybe
Nintendo's doing great. I mean, they literally have the niche market of like everyone's childhood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone played a Nintendo game growing up.
They are the childhood gaming studio.
100%.
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
like, yeah, they're literally like Disneyland is the movies for kids and Nintendo is the games for kids.
The games for kids.
But I love that like they're coming out with, I think what Nintendo does that's really smart is they know exactly how old the people are who are playing their games and how old they've become, which is interesting.
That's
like
true,
Zelda, dude. Zelda evolving to an open world.
Yep, Zelda is now, because they know all the people who used to play Zelda have grown up. And I think the other thing, you see it also at Metroid Dread.
But anyways, guys, thanks for chatting with me. Peace out, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week.